Hello and welcome to my stereotypically American high finance guide. I'll explain what each tower represents when we buy them. Anyways, let's turn this music down. So, we'll start off by placing a dart monkey right over here as bottom left as possible. It's very important that it is as bottom left as possible because if it's not, you just kind of die. And set it to strong. And then for this sub, place it also as bottom left as possible next to your dart monkey. And this one really does matter a lot. So, as you can probably tell, I'm using big monkeys for this. I recommend that you don't, but big monkeys is mostly to represent the fact that America is known for having very large people. The next upgrade we'll be buying is long range on the sub, but don't buy it for round 7, because if you do buy it for round 7, you just straight up die, which is kind of weird, but you don't die without it. Makes no sense. So, at some point after round 7, but before round 9, upgrade your sub to a 101. Also, yes, I'm gonna have Star Spangled Banner on repeat for the entire video, and you can't do anything about it. Even though you can afford Pat for round 13, don't buy him, as we want to get Airburst before then, just to make sure that it's consistent enough. So yeah, buy Airburst at some point before round 14. Also, use my code in the TD6 shop. It would be kind of funny, and yeah, use code Dorio. Before round 17, place Big Boy Monkey Pat Fusty as top left as possible into this corner. The reason we're using Pat is, I think you can tell, more big people. At some point before round 22, upgrade your sub to a 103 triple guns. And then at some point before 24, upgrade your dart monkey to a 002 camo vision. At some point before round 28, place an engineer as bottom, just as bottom into that corner thing as possible, and upgrade it to a 013 double gun with bigger range. Hopefully you've noticed a pattern with the early game towers we're getting. Yup, they all have guns, and more than one of them. Very American. At some point before 33, build that building, and place a sniper on it as top left as possible, and upgrade it to a 020 shrapnel. And at some point before 35, upgrade it to a 022. Before 37, place a village as top right as possible on that building, and upgrade it to a 001, and then place an alchemist as bottom left as possible, right over here, without going past your sniper. It should be able to see the top track, and set it to strong, and then upgrade your village to a 002. Don't forget and then panic do it mid-round. Do it before the round. It helps. Upgrade your sniper to a 023 the second you can afford it. I do it a bit late here, but it doesn't really matter. And then, before round 40, place an alchemist as bottom right as possible, over here, and upgrade it to an acidic mixture dip. And use Pat's ability. Unfortunately, there is a 1 in 5 RNG that you die to this round, and you can't do anything about it. The reason it happens is, every 5 shots, Pat does a knockback slap and knocks Moabs and Bloons back. And if you get poor timing on this, you can just die. And then, after 43, upgrade your sniper to a 024 full auto rifle. And then, whenever you have the money, upgrade your bottom alchemist to a 320 berserker brew. Now we can save up for our mid game and our late game ZOMG damage. Elite Defender. Let's go. Buy a 025 Elite Defender once you can afford it. Also, don't notice my sniper name. That is not America themed at all. Don't worry about it. And then upgrade your village to a jungle drums once you have the money. And then also, when you have the money, upgrade your top alchemist to an acidic mixture dip 200 as well. This is mostly just to prevent some RNG that can happen on 59 if you don't. '59 got a lot closer here than it normally does, so, yeah. So, at some point before 63, don't place that heli yet. Place an ice monkey as bottom left as possible next to your top alchemist. And upgrade it to a 042 snowstorm with refreeze. And then, place a heli on its ice platform as bottom left as possible. This is very important that you place it as bottom left as possible so you have room for the marine to go in a specific spot later on. Don't place that glue, I'm just testing to see if the marine can fit. And then upgrade it to a 032 downdraft and lock it in place on that intersection. Also, on 63, if you ever feel scared for whatever reason, feel free to use any of the abilities. You shouldn't die at all. Even if they make it to the last curve, you still probably won't die. So just don't worry about 63. And we're going to be AFK until all the way until when we buy Marine. So, see you then. Actually, I lied earlier. You're going to get a Chinook once you can afford it, and move your 013 NG over a bit up and left. Not there, certainly, just up over here. This is important for the Marine to have room later on. Round 80 can take a bit of time because 025 Elite Defender doesn't do the best against only one ZOMG. It also doesn't usually get as close as this. Upgrade your heli to Marine once you can afford it, and you want to make sure that the Marine goes there when you use the ability and it's locked in on the intersection. If it doesn't go there, that's not a good thing. You're also going to, if it doesn't do that, move it around a bit until it does. And from now until the end of the game, use Marine whenever it comes up, just so you can constantly get a Marine going, sometimes even two. And then just set your Elite Defender to Strong once you have afforded the Marine, and upgrade your bottom Alchemist to a 420 Stronger Stimulant. And then once you've reached about 10k money, skip forward a bit because I forgot to do this earlier. Oh yeah, I'm using Marine because it represents the military or something, because the US spends a lot of money on that. Just whenever you have the money to do this, upgrade your village to primary training so your snowstorm can hit the right side, and then place a glue gunner right over here, upgrade it to relentless glue with glue splatter, set it to strong, and then Chinook it up here. Having the Chinook as a part of the Marine helps a ton because we can do neat stuff like that. Putting a tower in discount range and then Chinooking it away. Also, there are going to be two different spots that your Marine goes to. They should be directly below and directly above the bridge. If they're not those two locations, that's not a good thing. And you should adjust it until it does. After 89, build this building and place a mortar on the top. And upgrade that mortar to a 023 signal flare and set it to this intersection right here. And then place an ace as right as possible on the bottom platform and upgrade it to a 030 bomber ace, and we'll get it to a ground zero when we have the money. And boom, you should now have ground zero. The next American thing, because I think the US created nuclear bombs originally, and this is a nuclear weapon, so this fits with that. And then for round 93, move your signal flare over here, and use a ground zero once all DDTs have entered the screen. Oh yeah, on these dense balloon rounds like 94, feel free to use a snowstorm or one of Pat's abilities. I would mostly recommend using his roar, but you can use his squeeze, I guess. Technically it hurts, but yeah. It only hurts because you want his stuns more than a single ZOMG to be popped. And then, before 95, place your ninja right over here, preferably in the discount range, but doesn't really matter, but on this building, and upgrade it to a 040 Bloon Sabotage, and use the ability once DDTs have reached the area where your Marine is, and then ground zero once all DDTs are on screen. Fairly simple. Again, for 96, feel free to use Snowstorm or Pat's Roar. You don't have to, but you can, I guess. Before round 97, upgrade your signal flare to a 024 shattering shells, and target it right here. 97 should just win. Don't use Pat Roar or Ground Zero or Snowstorm. You want to have all three up for 98 just in case. Yeah, this round takes a while. It's kind of annoying. But do use Pat's Squeeze on the second ZOMG of 97. For 98, you should move your Shattering Shells up to the front. I forgot, though. Sabo at the start of the round, and make sure to keep using that Marine the instant it comes off cooldown. Very important. Once a ton of Moabs start to split away from the main group, use Pat's Roar to make sure that your Marine can catch all of them. I would try to not use a ground zero here because you really do need it for 99, but if you want to use a snowstorm, feel free to do so. And after 98, where your mortar should be targeting the front of the track, you should move your mortar to the start of the track as well, but I forgot to do that here. But then place a 041 sub next to your triple guns. Your mortar should be targeting the front, and you should also use your Sabo 2 to 3 seconds later than I do. That is kind of important here. And use your ground zero once the fortified DDTs start to turn. It doesn't normally get this close, but feel free to use a snowstorm if that happens. Yeah, that got way too close for comfort. And then for round 100, because it can kind of be decided by Marine ability timing, you want to place a bomb shooter somewhere. You should be able to place it in range of the discount though, and upgrade it to a 031 Moab Mauler with bigger range. And use a Pat Roar when you have 2 Marines that are attacking the bad. And then use your first strike when the bad looks like it's going to exit the screen. But before it exits the screen, obviously. Also, use a ground zero for a bit of extra damage, I guess. And time your first strike right as the bad is exiting. Boom. You should now have your high finance black border with the most American possible strategy. I hope this guide helped you out. Have a nice rest of your day. Goodbye. Oh yeah, I'm also definitely going to make another Pat Marine guide. That would be really cool. Maybe Pat Marine Cripple or Pat Marine Energizer on Muddy Puddles or something. That could be interesting.